Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey was not the only Greek product making money this week. Trevor Zegras on Wednesday night became the highest paid flyer on the current roster. But before Zegras put the pen to paper, he told Danny Briere and Keith Jones, "My dog's got to eat too." And the Flyers went to work and locked up his bestie, Jamie Drysdale, for the same amount of years. Sandwiched between the news of these contracts was the release of the 2026 and 2027 season schedule. So now me and Steven have the four exact dates where our mental health will deteriorate. And with that, we welcome you to the Keystone Hockey Podcast, episode 3. Steven, how you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. Pretty lackluster week compared to the last couple that we've had this off season, but it's finally I guess the off season for the National Hockey League with only really only a month to go to the season starts. So
It's a sign of things to come. Um, we're gonna have great video topics like Brady Kachuk's favorite flavor of crayon and mascot tier lists. It's gonna be a great summer, guys. Don't wait. Get ready.
right, you guys, we got a NHL 27 with GM connected. So if we have anything to look forward to, we have that. But
We do. Missing
it
like
only it only took
90% of the
13 years,
features.
but
13 years and 90% of the features not in the game.
well,
Um,
you never know. We'll see. Time will tell.
yeah, fingers crossed. Steven, you want to get started with the few Penguins moves that happened? Couple
Yeah,
minor stories.
there hasn't been crazy news, but the Penguins did lock up Nick Robertson to a 2-year deal worth 3.25. So I won't complain about that. Solid number, 2 years, not bad at all. Um, and it also helps that maybe now that his brother's locked in, Jason maybe might want to come on over, but that's the hope. But yeah, no, I'm not complaining with three for two, not bad at all. I'd imagine he'll be like third line center now for the team. So I'm not complaining, and they avoided arbitration too, so that also helped the morale. So and then the only other news really is that the Penguins have parted ways with the Nailers after 29 years of being their ECHL team. Now with the Hoffman family, they own the Everblades, so they will be the new ECHL team for the Penguins. Um, it's funny. The one other Penguins fan I talked to, she said that when the Hoffman family took over, that would probably be one of their first moves. Actually, would be to replace the Nailers, and she was right. So, um, it's a shame to see them go, especially since from what I know, they've been there for a long time. They changed the colors and everything to match everything. So, I don't really see them changing the Gators to black and gold. That'd be a little interesting look, but yeah. Other than that, there really hasn't been too much going on, so I don't think that'll change much. It's just a new look with the organization, really. So, and then the Flyers definitely have had a more busy week than the Penguins sure have. So,
Yeah, definitely. Not as dramatic as the past couple weeks. I mean, we had a bit of a delay for our last episode, so in that time, the Leo Carlson offer sheet was matched by Anaheim. Not a whole lot to talk about because nothing really changed. I think we all kind of expected that to happen. Um, there's still some free agents out there. I don't know if any really any really make any kind of stories. Mantha stays in division, Steven.
yeah, bum.
Uh, we'll see how that works out. I mean, it's high risk, high reward, I guess. I mean, coming off an
Um,
ACL injury, getting 34 goals is pretty solid. But
yeah, I mean, it did take 2 years isn't too bad, I don't think. I mean, I'm low key actually. I'd say they didn't do that deal with us because I mean, 5 million they could have afforded it, but you are taking the risk. You don't know. I mean, that could have been the one off season for him, and he might go back to the way he was. But I'm hoping not. I love Mantha. A little less now, so Capital and now a Devil. So that's two not my favorite teams, but I wish him well.
he's like Yager. He's just going to go through like the entire division.
Uh
Right.
yeah, but Yager kind of holds a little bit more in the heart.
Yeah, easily, and a little more in the history books too, I'd say.
Yeah, a little bit, some silver with his name. So
Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, like, it was a little surprising because I think, from what I heard, a lot of teams were just giving him 1 year deals because they didn't want to take that risk with his injury history. I mean, 4.5, if he get 30 goals out of him again, I mean, that's a really, really solid price.
absolutely.
Uh, I mean, New Jersey's in an interesting spot. I don't really know what uh their goaltending situation is going to be now that Markstrom's gone. Um, they're hoping for a healthy season of Jack Hughes. It seems like very similar to Bedard, where it seems like a big ask because like as soon as he gets hurt, it's kind of devastating. Um, but I guess we'll get into the Flyers side of things since we had two big two big signings to avoid arbitration. We had with Trevor Zegras was the first one, so we'll start there. We'll go chronologically. 4 years, 9.125 million per. Um, I like this contract. I like it a little bit less than the Drysdale deal. I think my biggest worry is I don't think the term is long enough. Um, I mean, 4 years. I mean, 9 million for the terms of production you had with him last year is pretty solid. He was their best power play guy on a power play that was absolutely dreadful, basically like an AHL power play that's been there for about 6 years. Um, and he when he finally was converted back to center in the past like 25 games of the season, he was kind of the best, most productive center they had from a points perspective and like a scoring perspective. He looks like right now, since they don't have that 1C that they were going for, and they're going to continue searching for, it looks like either him or Dvorak's going to be 1C, which is it's hard to say that without laughing, but I mean, for that level of production, can he get up to 75 points? I mean, he came up just short. He was at 66, I think, either 67 or 68 around that last season. He had a career high in goals and points. And he's still 25. It's not like he's just gonna like completely plateau, or at least I hope he doesn't. I know injury risk has been there for a second. Um, Steven, what was your idea for the contract?
Um, I think it's pretty solid actually. For you guys, 4 years. I think you said it was 4 years. Um, it should. Uh, they get this would be your core. You have the window to make sure to prove that it is the core with Drysdale and him. And then if you have any younger like Michkov, if he takes the right steps this coming season, which I mean, as much as I hate to say it, I don't want to see anybody not succeed. So I hope he bounces back. And if not, we'll take him off your hands. We got a Russian mentor for him.
I think I'm
Um,
alright on that.
but no, I think it as much as I don't want to say I think it's a good deal for you guys, both of them, Drysdale and Zegras. I think the Drysdale one, like you said, is definitely a better contract though.
Yeah, it here's the thing when like the Leo Carlson offer sheet went out and you see 18 million a year, that's the kind of contract that's going to drive everyone else in the league's price up. So the number I think most Flyers fans were expecting were it was about 9 million a season for Zegras, and then around 6.25 was the rumored price for Drysdale before that. And I think once the Carlson offer sheet came out, we were a little worried that maybe Zegras was going to cost like 11 million, or with the Minikov contracts and some of these bizarre contracts that these defensemen were getting handed this offseason. I think it was probably going to add an extra million or a million and a half to Drysdale's deal, which would have been, I wouldn't say disastrous because I love Drysdale and I think his upside's tremendous, but there's certainly a risk if you're paying Drysdale 7.5 million when you still don't really have a defenseman quarterbacking this power play at all. And I have a lot of faith in Drysdale, so I guess we'll just switch into contract because I think this is kind of a perfect deal. A 4 years, 6.25 million. Again, you look at the price that a lot of these defensemen are coming in at. You know, Simone Nemec gets seven and a quarter a year in Calgary, and Drysdale finished around the same amount of points as him and Mintyukov. To get him in at that price, and then considering he actually had one of his, I wouldn't say a bad offensive season, but he focused a lot of his offseason last year on getting the defensive parts of his game sound, like making up with some of those weaknesses. And he added, I think, plus 30 in his plus minus. He was in like the minus 30s in Torts' last season. His plus minus was a -3. So, I mean, that was like a tremendous spike in that. And it's really, I don't want to put everything on the guy, but I think if he's able to develop his offensive side and he's able to work with the power play, I think like if he just makes these progressions for power play, he was talking about getting his shot speed up in like the exit interviews after they were eliminated. If he's able to focus that and then also keep this new defensive game that he found, I think he could seriously play top pair minutes. And if you're going to top pair guy for 6.25 million for 4 years, that's a tremendous contract. And it actually goes along with the theme of the contracts on this team, at least on the blue line. I mean, Sanheim, uh, he's got, I think, 3 more years left on a $6 million deal. And he's the best defenseman on the team, and he's arguably like a top 20 or top 25 defenseman in the league. That's a tremendous contract. And you know, Cam York, I have a lot of criticisms for Cam York, but I mean, for what he provides, he has some offensive upside too, but he's a left-handed shot, so it doesn't really work out for this power play the way Drysdale does because he's a right-handed shot. But he's at 5.5 million, so another real good, another good deal on the books for Briere on the defensive side of the things. I think obviously the Couturier contract is aged pretty bad, but I think and the Konechny contract, it's they're going to age well with this rising cap. So I'm not super worried about these deals coming in. If anything, like I mentioned before, I wish there was a little longer term on the Zegras deal because say he keeps developing his game, he goes to a 75, maybe even like an 80 point or like a point per game pace. I don't know if that's likely, but it's certainly a scenario that could happen. You know, when he's up for a contract, he's going to be 29. That's probably going to be a contract that breaks the bank a little bit and eats a lot more cap than they could have ultimately. And I assume that was where the mutual landing ground was, where 9 million was the number the Flyers wanted to land on. And ultimately, like the Zegras team, his agent, and himself found that, listen, we'll take a shorter deal. We're not going to get one of these 7-8 year contracts that the Flyers love handing out. And ultimately, I think that might cost the team in the long run, but I think it's worth a shot. Clearly, there's certainly risk in both of these players, so I understand why they only want to go 4 years with it, and I understand why the players themselves want to only go 4 years because if their game keeps progressing and they keep ascending, they're going to make a lot of money coming up pretty soon. And it seems like it's going to be a theme going around the NHL because Bedard finally gets a deal. Steven, he's not going to be a Pittsburgh Penguin.
It's like I knew that was coming.
Another 4 year contract. This might kind of be where the league's going after these high cap hit. I don't know. I mean, 15 million is a pretty reasonable cap hit considering some of the contracts going out. And then Bedard's, I mean, the only thing they got going for him in Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, they did bring in Byram now, who's the highest paid defenseman in the league history now. So there's that. But it's crazy to think that once that contract's up, he'll still only be 25 years old. Like he won't even well as long as he stays healthy. That's another problem with him currently. Is his injury history is pretty good for being so young. So I think the 5 years is it should definitely be enough time. And then I mean once if he stays on pace the way that they project his career to be, I mean once that's up, he'll be the highest paid player in the National Hockey League for sure.
Easily. And the problem is like Kyle Davidson has done absolutely nothing to get him a supporting cast of any kind. I mean, you get him Bowen Byram. Can you get him a guy that like can score 30 goals on his line?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Bertuzzi's time. I like Bert, but I think Bert's time is passed. So uh, I mean maybe Frank Nazar takes a step next season and becomes like a prominent goal scorer. But I mean they got a lot of work to do. And I mean honestly, I'm a goalie guy. I can't remember who the goaltender is in Chicago.
Spencer Knight. That's the only thing they got going
Yeah,
for him right now. I love Spencer Knight. I mean, they got their goalie, they got their center. Everything else, it's kind of just a mixed bag. And mixed bag is kind of giving him a compliment because it's mediocre at best. If you look around it, I mean, they're going to have Anton Frundell playing first line minutes. He's only played, I think, 12 games in the NHL, and he's going to be awesome. I think Frundell is going to be a fantastic player, but I mean, that's throwing a lot of it at a dude that's
yeah,
like just coming in.
yeah. Chicago. They definitely got a ways to go. But I don't know. I feel like they're finally headed in the right direction. It's gonna be a little while, I think, till they're finally where they want to be.
I mean, if I'm looking around the league, I mean, can they bring DeBrincat back for a third stint?
I don't know. I don't feel like that'll change much at this stage in the game. I mean, maybe you bring Patrick Kane with him since
The
he's
the
still out
farewell
there.
tour.
But yeah, I don't know.
From the sounds of it, obviously Patrick Kane is still out there. He's down to Chicago and Buffalo as his two teams. Those are the rumors. I think him going to Buffalo would be very interesting. Um,
Yeah,
but I mean, I don't know how much game he's really got left. I mean, when he was Detroit, I mean, he's 36, 37. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the greatest American hockey players of all time. But I mean, he just doesn't. It just it happens to everybody. He doesn't have a lot of game left, and I think it's definitely adds some depth for Buffalo. I think losing Alex, they're not going to get the production they got from Alex Tuck from a 36-year-old Patrick Kane. That's for sure. But um, I don't know what makes more sense to you out of those two teams for Kaner.
I honestly think Buffalo would be a better fit. Like you put them on the third line, I feel like you get just depth scoring at this stage is what Kane would be. And I mean, obviously you have the pedigree. You know, he brings that locker room leadership. He has the winning pedigree. Like you need winners. So I mean, I can't remember how many Stanley Cup winners are on Buffalo currently. I don't think there's a lot, maybe like one or
Good
two.
question.
Um, so I mean that definitely helps to have a guy of that caliber in their locker room to bring in a winning culture. So I mean, I don't know. I feel like Chicago is too far out to be a contender this year. And if Kane's goal is to win another one, I mean, realistically, Buffalo out of those two is far better choice to go to. And I mean, I'm pretty sure that's where he's from, right? It's Buffalo.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
So he would be, the hometown discount probably. And I mean, at this stage, he's not making, the $8 million he was. So I don't know Buffalo's cap space, but I feel like uh Kane going to Buffalo would definitely be a better fit than Chicago.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of eyes on Buffalo this season, especially after the year they had. I mean, they were just um, like December on. I mean, they were just they were running through teams, and there's going to be a lot of eyes on them, a lot more pressure, and then they lost. Losing Bowen Byram and Alex Tuck. I mean, those were two huge pieces for them to like make it as far as they did. Um, those aren't going to be easy guys to replace, especially now that Florida's going to be Florida again. Sasha Barkov's coming back, and obviously we got Brady Kachuk coming in. Um, that that Atlantic division is going to be really tough. Um, I definitely think there's some pressure on Buffalo. I still have faith in them. I think they're going to get in again, just because I believe in Darlene. Um, I believe in. I mean, they got a good tandem. I mean, obviously, it's not that stud goalie, but I mean, Lyon and Luukkonen is that's a pretty good 1-2 combination. They split the time pretty evenly last year too. Uh, that's going to be interesting to see what happens with them. But not that Atlantic division. I mean, it's going to be tough in both Eastern divisions to get into the playoffs. There's a lot of ascent. I mean, Washington's the obvious one that's going to be getting better in the Metro. New Jersey, it feels like New Jersey's always going to be the team that breaks through, and they just never do. I don't know. Is there a team in the Metro you expect to take a jump this season?
In the Metro, Washington for sure. Just the way the amount of moves they made this offseason, in Ovechkin's last season, bringing in Boone Jenner, bringing in Tuck. They did at every team in the Metro. I think addition wise, they blew everybody out of the water. Compared to everybody else. I mean, Columbus. Columbus. I think will still be at the bottom. I don't think they really did much to improve. I mean, they lost their captain even. Penguins, I don't know. They're an interesting one. They're actually a team that as much as I hate saying that, I can see them missing out. Because it all depends on if the pieces they brought in to replace who they lost pan out. So we'll see. Time will tell with that one. The Islanders, I don't know. They feel like they're in the same boat. They also lost their captain. So there's two teams in the Metro now without captains. Uh, other than, oh no, I forgot you guys named Victoria captain. Never mind. So used to
Good.
But yeah, no, I mean, out of everybody in our division, the Capitals are the best one improvement wise. But I think the Atlantic is actually the stronger division for once. Like usually, I've been saying it's the Metro, but I think this year the Atlantic finally takes the step with. I mean, how much Florida improved. I think Boston will be fine. Buffalo should be competitive, and Montreal I think will actually somehow be better. Um, yeah, no, it's a rough. It's going to be a rough getting into the playoffs in the East for sure.
There are going to be two or three like insanely good teams that don't make the playoffs this year. Um,
Yeah,
I mean, the thing is, like the teams I expect to have that dip or fall off in production are always the teams I expect to, and they just never fall off. Like Boston, every single year we're like, oh, this is the year they take a step back. Like, what is Don Sweeney doing? He's getting rid of everybody. And then they go Morgan Geeky just somehow gets 40 goals, and then Swayman is a Vezina finalist, and then they make it in. That being said, I do expect maybe Boston to be one of the teams that dips out. Ottawa, I don't know. I really don't know what's going on with Ottawa. If they get a healthy year out of Sanderson and then Allmark, I'm rooting for Allmark. I hope he has a bounce back because last season was pretty rough for the guy. And I want to see the guy succeed because he's a great goaltender. He's clearly dealing with a lot, especially in that Ontario market. There's a lot of eyes on you, even though Toronto dominates that Providence. But um, yeah, I expect Ottawa maybe to take a step back. Detroit with Larkin, obviously they missed out again. They Eiserman, that was another big story that we were when we were gone. Eiserman out. Um, I
for
can't
a
see them
higher
making enough
position.
moves. Yeah, for yeah, that's he got a promotion demotion. He got fired. He got fired, and they gave him a soft landing. Which I mean, I guess you got to take care of what top two or three player that ever played for your team. Um,
Yeah,
but I can't see Detroit. They really can't afford to miss the playoffs again, though.
no, no,
They
I
can't.
really think that'll if they miss again, I think they'll have to. I think I'll have to shake it up drastically after this season.
They haven't hosted a playoff game since they moved out of the Joe.
Yeah, which is insane to think after 25 years of not missing the playoffs to being the longest team to miss the playoffs is kind of wild.
And I mean, I think they're still going to be better than Toronto. Toronto just like threw a bunch of guys in to like stay competitive, even though like they're still probably like the seventh or eighth best team in the division. Um, and it's really like I don't see this division. I mean, Tampa's just going to be Tampa. Like I don't see them slowing down. Kucherov's in a contract year. He's probably going to score 200 points.
Nobody will talk
Um,
about it though.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Kucherov. Like I honestly, if I were to pick out award favorites right now, I honestly think Kucherov goes back to back with the Hart just because he's in a contract year. And I mean, they honestly upgraded their power play defenseman. I mean, they lost Taylor Radish, but they added John Carlson. John Carlson's a much better power play defenseman than Radish.
And they get
Um,
a Hedman back who missed most of last season.
yeah, they're gonna. I mean, they're just not gonna slow down. Vasilevsky's always going to be Vasilevsky, as far as I'm concerned. Um, it's so Tampa, Montreal, Florida, Buffalo. We expect to be at the top four. And then, I mean, for that fifth spot, considering last year they got both wild card positions. Like, who's going to be that team that steps in? It's going to be interesting, and that's not even to mention the Metropolitan Division, who like the Islanders. I don't know what they did to make their team better, but Pete DeBoer, there's always going to be that. There's always going to be that new head coach boost that like every team seems to get. Um, So, and they also have one of the best goalies in the division. And looking around the division, now that I mentioned goaltending, I mean, the goaltending stacked in this division. I mean, you got Shesterkin, you got Sorokin, Logan Thompson for Washington. You got Vladar. Um, I mean, Jack Reeves is a good. I think Jack Reeves is a good goaltending. He's still probably going to go to arbitration. Columbus is not really doing a whole lot right now. Fantilli still has to until he's still eligible to get offer sheeted. I don't know if that's going to happen exactly, but um, I mean the goalies in this division are loaded, and I think if anything that makes me a little hesitant to say Pittsburgh might make it because I believe it. I think Sheilov is awesome. I was telling you last year, like throughout the season, I'm like, Sheilov should be getting the starts, but like, are you willing to go 40, 50 games with him? Being the full time starter, and then Murashov. Listen, I have serious PTSD from watching Russian goaltenders come in and letting in like 7 goals a game with Koleslav and Fedotov, who went back to Russia. Fedotov went to the KHL. He gone. Um, uh,
Is that his choice though?
I, I mean, probably not. Let's be honest. um, he was Michkov's guy. It does suck seeing like the Michkov's buddies. Like, obviously, there's an insane language barrier. Could you imagine going to Russia being 21, 22? We were idiots when we were 21, 22. Could you imagine us going to Russia, not speaking any Russian, and like being able to figure everything out?
Yeah, no.
And then
No
like
shot.
Michkov had these guys who could lean on, like Fedotov, Zamula, and then Zamula
Yeah,
just goes off the
Samula.
grid.
Yeah,
Zamula
that's
goes off
fine.
the grid requesting 2 trades in like 3 months when like the guy's a bottom pair defenseman at best.
Yeah, I don't. I have no good, uh, nothing good to say about Zamula. I'm gonna leave that to you.
Which I have nothing good to say either, so I don't know. we'll just keep
At least he
playing hot
played for you.
potato. Yeah, he played a NHL game for us. I think he scored like an overtime winner. I think we were bowling one time. He scored like an OT winner against Minnesota. I'm like, how did he just do that? Those were the dark ages for sure. Um, it's so funny. He is just like one of those. There are about 20 guys I think we could rattle off that played for both. Well, I guess he didn't really play
He
for
didn't. He
Pittsburgh.
didn't. No, he refused to play for Pittsburgh, but he wanted. He. It's all right. He went to Columbus, and then he fell off the face of the earth. So I'm hoping he's enjoying himself over there.
Uh, I mean, does anyone enjoy themselves in Ohio?
Uh, that's the question, isn't it?
LeBron, I
Maybe
guess.
LeBron, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
he'll enjoy himself in Philly soon, so he'll be all right.
Yeah, right. He's good. I can't wait for the documentary. It was always going to be the land, and then it's like just him coming out in a Cleveland jersey. Um, so since we're talking about mutual players, we got a schedule, Steven. Our schedule's out. We have the 4 games. We have the 4 games. The season is opening for Pittsburgh where it ended. September 30th, 7:30. It's a TNT game, so that really means it's an 8:15 puck drop. It's because they're going to be doing a pre-show for 45 minutes. So we have the September 30th game at 7:30 in Philadelphia. The next time they meet in Philadelphia is not till March 30th at 7 p.m. The first game in Pittsburgh is a matinee on January 31st at 12. A very early game, 12 p.m. And then April 3rd, 8 o'clock is the final game they play in Pittsburgh. Very spaced out schedule. It is a little strange. I feel like it usually ends up like this where they play pretty early in the season. They don't play for a while and then kind of compact the 3 games. I feel like it's a little more spaced out last year. They didn't play each other in the last like 2 months of the season, if I remember correctly. But
Yeah, it'll be interesting seeing the first game of the season being the two of us, and then I'm glad. I think that they alternate, right? One game here, then one in Pittsburgh, and then
yeah,
one.
they even it
Yeah.
out.
So at least it did that. I don't know. I was hoping to do maybe one more with the 2 extra games to add like a division rival game, but I mean it's fine. I'm used to the 4, so I can't complain. Definitely be in attendance for both the home Flyers games. As much as I would love to be in the attendance for the home Pittsburgh games, but for sure
Anything
be
could
at the
happen.
yeah yeah. You never know, but I highly doubt it. But it'd be great, especially since the only time I ever been in Pittsburgh and they lost. So
um, yeah, yeah. I mean, I love that there were some really interesting games from a Flyers perspective on the schedule. Like the Anaheim game, 10:24. I love that we have the Ducks game early. Just like not taking our foot off the gas. October 24th, a matinee game on a Saturday. That's going to be fantastic. That's one I'm not going to. I can't miss that game. That's going to possibly a line brawl. We'll see what happens. The last game here, Anaheim played a really dirty game. They played real scummy. There was a game misconduct. I think Bobby Brink left the game with a concussion. They got things got bad real quick. So and that's pre offer sheet. So this game is going to be a war on ice. I love that these 2 teams that couldn't be more different and like couldn't like be more on the opposite side of the country end up having like one of the most like I was gonna say heated rivalry, but we're not going to be talking about that show here. Uh, but yeah, I can't wait for that game. And there's also what I found interesting. They're doing these European game schedules like the global series, but it's not the global series where we're seeing 2 teams go um, across the pond, if we'll say that. Um, there's a 1 o'clock game against Montreal on a Monday, which I find very fascinating. They're scheduling that so some European fans can get to watch their players, and the exact reason they gave is for fans for Checha to watch Dan Vladar play, which I think is really cool. Um, I think that's a really unique game. It's going to be weird, which I'm down to get weird. Um, I think that's actually really cool. And then the final one for me, uh, Ovi's potential final game is going to be in Philadelphia, April 10th. That's game 82 for both Washington and Philadelphia. And that game could actually have some high stakes if we're looking at how the standings will shape out by then. And also, the final 6 games for each team is going to be in division for everyone in the league, which I think is awesome. The final 6 of the 8 games I think are obviously for Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, they're going to be in the Metropolitan Division, but I think that goes for every team around the league. I think that's fantastic. Um, it's basically starting the playoffs early. I mean, those are going to be high intensity games. If we're expecting this Eastern Conference to shape out pretty much like it did last year, where it was like there were six or oh man, I did it.
It was every team except the Rangers.
There's literally every team except the Rangers. Yeah. Um, I think that's awesome. I think that's a really cool addition. Um, we actually have the Winter Classic on either New Year's Eve or New Year's Day this year. Still not New Year's Day. It should always be on New Year's Day, but I mean,
Agreed.
Getting a New Year's Eve Winter Classic is pretty cool. Um, and then it's Avalanche Utah, right?
Yeah, in
That's gonna be
Utah.
cool. Love that. Love
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. And then there's the
Um,
Heritage Classic too that exists.
yeah, I think Gary Bettman forgets about it every year when he makes the schedule. He's like, oh,
Oh,
we
and
got
then
to do this.
and the Stadium Series that also is a thing.
In Jerry World, Cowboys suck as always. How they're gonna get? I love that we're getting a Las Vegas and Dallas, Texas outdoor game for ice hockey. That's Gary
Yeah, why
Bettman's
not?
dream. Yeah, why not? It's an indoor stadium.
Well, we'll have it on the beach in Florida soon enough. So
Yeah, everyone just I mean, at this point, just everyone get like floaties and just play like water hockey. Um, and I guess it's a good thing they're doing it in the stadium because all the wildfire smoke is not going to affect everybody.
yeah, maybe by the season starts, we'll be able to breathe again.
It was nice. I went outside this morning. It's the air is not carcinogenic.
Okay.
It's the lettuce still is. We're living in nightmare time right now. All right, let's get back on track. Is there anything interesting for you from a Pittsburgh perspective on the schedule?
I truly didn't look deep diving into it. I wanted to look when we play Ovechkin, because that one obviously means a decent amount. I'd probably actually go to the Ovechkin Flyers game as much as I hate both of them. Just to see Ovi because I have never seen Ovi play, and that'd be pretty neat to see him in his potential final game ever. We were saying that last season, so I guess this time we'll get to see Sid and Ovi potentially play the last time ever. And I mean, Sid's contract is going to be up too, as much as there's no talk about him retiring. You never know, but I'm not assuming Sid's going to go, but it is a year what 2022, 23 now of this rivalry.
Crazy.
So, and as I said in the last episode, without the two of them, the game is not where it is today. So,
I just love it. I just love that. I mean, I think we both expect Washington to make it back into the playoffs. Um, but if they don't, Ovi's last game could actually be in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, which is very cool. Um, Michael Jordan's final NBA game also in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
03 Wizards. Final game was it was in the Wachovia Center. um, but yeah, I think we're both just ready for hockey. 72 days, I think, is the exact number
Okay.
for.
Shout out Patrick Hornquist.
Let's not shout out Patrick Hornquist.
Two times.
He did do it. Um, all right, I think that about wraps it up. I think we covered a good amount of stuff for the short amount of time we had. Um, I think as I said earlier, we're definitely getting to the dark ages of the news cycle, the hockey news cycle at least. So we'll find a way to mix it up for you guys. We'll invent ways to talk about hockey. Believe us, like we will. Um, we'll just start rattling off names that
And
played
you'll
for both of our teams for 45 minutes, like
and
we
you'll
do.
hear some names you haven't heard in a very long time.
And judging by who our viewers are, probably never heard in their entire lives, and it'll just basically sound like we're speaking in Mandarin. Um, any closing thoughts, Stephen?
I got two. Shout out whoever makes the schedule. Stop giving the Penguins the most back-to-back games. I'm sick of that every season. I really am. Shout out. And it's weird being hyped for the NHL video game again. It's been a minute, but it's weird, but it's nice. And shout out Celebrini. He deserves to be on the cover.
He does, man. 20 years old, being the cover of video games. I mean, that's got to be a dream for him, and he
Yeah,
earned it.
took the title for youngest athlete from your boy
Wait, who was it before?
Trevor.
Oh, shit, it was Zegras. That's right.
Yep,
It
on the
was
worst cover of all time.
Amanda Nurse. They were on like Malibu Beach or something. It
Yeah.
was like
Well,
it was like not even. Again, Gary Bettman loves sand more than ice. I think
yeah,
he's
they're standing in front of like palm trees or something. I think like
yeah.
that.
It was
Yeah,
just weird. He was wearing like
that's
Vans.
that's how I saw a hockey video game. But
Yeah. Um. Do we get an early release for that since we get an early season?
I didn't see the release date. I'm assuming it'll probably be the same as usual. Usually like the second week of September or whatnot,
Yeah.
which is actually right around the corner also. So
Yeah. I mean, the pace the summer is flying. I mean, it's going to be right around the corner. Um. But yeah, we'll meet you next week if best arenas we haven't gone to, best concessions to get at a whatever we'll come up with. We'll talk about it. We appreciate your time. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. Follow our Twitter, KSH Podcast. Um, and thank you for joining us. Thanks for watching. As always, we will see you very soon. Adios.
have a good one.
I almost did the same thing again.